Hi there, Tad Harger from Marketing for Hippies, and today's video, it's about two dynamics of hunger and shame and how they show up in marketing. Now, of course, these are dynamics that can show up in any relationship, so it could be romantic, but certainly true for business. I see these two things getting in the way of people's marketing and just causing a lot of trouble, I suppose. It's very hard to be authentic when you are in the thrall of either one of these. So again, hunger or shame. Hunger, the consequence of it. Hunger, I mean, you just need that client. You need them to say yes. This may be as a result of you've tied your business to your self-worth a little too much, but it also could be that you're just broke and you need the money really desperately and you've put yourself in a bit of a pickle, so you need the person in front of you to say yes. You're so hungry for the business. You can see this with politicians, how hungry they can be for the fame, for the adulation, or just in people, actors, musicians, people who are really hungry for fame, Instagram influencers. When people need the likes and the shares and the status, when they're so hungry for that, part of the challenge is we start to objectify others. So we'll look at people and put a dollar sign on them. Yeah, we'll look at them and see them as a potential follower, a potential voter. We look at a romantic partner as however we tend to objectify them. And, whether that's seeing them as a sexual conquest or seeing them as a security or seeing them as social status, because I get to be seen with them. So it's objectifying. We turn them into a tool for us to use to get something that we want for us, self-servingly. That has nothing to do with them and their well-being. So that's what hunger does, is it objectifies. Shame tends to make us creepy because when we're ashamed, we can't talk about the thing directly. I made a video a while ago about the circle of awkwardness, I think it was called. If you feel ashamed of talking with somebody about your business, And here's the real trouble. If you're hungry but also ashamed, this is the most trouble. Yeah, because shame just means you might not ever talk about your business because you're so ashamed to talk about it. Somebody says, "Don't you have a massage business?" Yeah. I mean, it's just on the side. Do you have a website? Yeah, I'll send it to you later. It's just you can't even. People are asking, and there's so much shame, so you can't take a step forward. So that can really happen. So you can shut down. But if you are hungry and ashamed, you see where that goes. You're going to start moving towards whatever it is you're trying to get to happen, get them to buy, get them to sign up for your thing. And at the same time, you'll be backpedaling. It's the foot on the gas and on the brake at the same time. And it feels very unsettling for people because they can feel that you want something, but you're not saying it. They can feel how hungry you are for the thing, but refuse to say that. I mean, I've talked to so many women who have had the experience of talking with men who are hitting on them. And then when they say, "Are you hitting on me? Are you asking me?" "Oh, no. We could just go for coffee sometime." And so the shame stops them from actually just saying, "Yes, I'm interested in you. I think you're beautiful and I'd like to ask you out on a date." But if you're ashamed of that, you'll kind of do everything but that. I remember sitting with, it was a potential funder of a nonprofit. And God, we went through a whole hour of a meal, and we were there to talk with him about money, but there's so much shame, and what it looked like. Well, we don't want him to think we just want money, so we're here to build a relationship and trust. This is so frustrating for funders. I remember talking with a fellow in Vancouver I know, in the social enterprise scene, and he said, "I would just so much rather somebody come up to me and say, 'Hey, we've got this project. We'd like to get $10,000. Can we just 5 minutes? Give us 5 minutes to do a pitch because we think you might like it.'" He said, "I way rather that than somebody say, 'Hey man, it's so good to see you. Hey, we should go for coffee, catch up sometime,' when he can feel that there's the hidden agenda underneath." Yeah. And why is the hidden agenda not being spoken to? Why is it not talked about? Because shame. There's this immense amount of shame in marketing. And this is why you see stealth marketing, ninja marketing tactics, hidden tactics. They'll never notice it. Hack your customer's brain, without their awareness, all these terrible things that get said. But why the need for that? Because shame. So if it's only shame you have, you just won't do the marketing. If it's only hunger you have, you'll just objectify people, and these are the people who seem to have no sense of how they're impacting people, and it's uncomfortable to be around somebody who's objectifying us in that way. And when you have both the shame and the objectification, that's real messy. That's where it's that's the worst to be around. So what do we do about it? Well, I mean, I guess that's what a lot of my work is based on. But we've got to start to, this is what my Meantime program, I guess, is about. We've got to build some space around our business so we're less hungry. Sometimes that means taking a part-time job, but it just means creating more financial and also time space in our life so we're not so desperate. We're not so hungry. But therapy also possibly too. If you just need, Martin Shaw had a great line. He said, if you don't have 30 good people looking at you every day, you'll want 30 million. It becomes a toxic mimic. Fame is this toxic mimic of community, So this is therapy, really looking at this, exploring it, why we're so hungry for these things, why do we need these things? This is why elders could be very useful at a time like this. And then the shame. It's worth just inquiring, am I doing anything wrong by sharing what I'm doing? But of course, so much of the way that I've seen marketing done, it is something to be ashamed about because it's gross. It doesn't feel good for anyone. So, this is what I think keeps keeps perpetuating it is it's terrible. What you're doing is terrible. And it's terrible, so then you're ashamed of doing it. So it's so important that we find ways to market that feel good. And so I do my best to offer this. I've got a lot of other colleagues that have really wonderful things to say about this. With particular shout outs to Mark Silver, George Cow, as colleagues of mine who I really admire in their approaches to this. Greg Faxon, I think, does great work. Ari Galper, many folks. So anyways, that's my thought today. Hunger and shame. So there's objectifying and creepiness. And we don't want either of them. We want to let them go for some higher alternative of a kind of composure where we're not trying to sell anyone. We're just trying to share what we do. That's it. We're just sharing. And then they decide if it's a fit or not. So if you're interested more on that, there's a video of my day-long event, Marketing for Hippies 101. And I'll put the link to that below because that's where I shared my most extensive thoughts on all this. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them below. I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.